How's it going, guys? It's Cloudy Wells again, and I'm going to be doing another unscripted video as I grind today. It seemed to go pretty well for me the last time, considering I seemed a lot less nervous, and everything just sort of seemed to flow a lot better. So I'm going to try and do that again, and who knows, maybe going forward that's going to be the format that's most effective for me, but we'll see. We'll see about it. But anyways, the topic for today, kind of want to piggyback a little bit off of my video that I had released like a couple days ago, talking about the way that I play and approach Black Desert and how I keep my playtime to a minimum. And essentially, that entire video boils down to figuring out what is effective for you and chasing what's effective as opposed to what's efficient. So a big part of this game obviously is going to be like grinding, and specifically like what spots you grind with what gear, what classes you have available to you, what classes you can grind on, stuff like that. And I really want to harp on the point that you don't need to spend 5-6 hours a day grinding centaurs with max loot buffs, you know, making 700 mil an hour until you get to, you know, hex or whatever to make billions per hour or whatever. Especially if the goals or the things that make you happy from playing this game don't require you to have 700 or more gear score. Like, what's the point, you know? So it doesn't matter if, you know, you have a person that is like in your guild or a person who like you play with like a friend or something, and maybe they play like, I don't know, Valkyrie or something, and then they grind, make 800 mil an hour just grinding centaurs all day, and they're progressing faster than you when your goal isn't necessarily even to get to 700 gear score, right? So the first thing I would recommend to literally everyone, if you're watching this video and you take nothing else away from this video, I think it's going to be this that is the most important piece of information that will help you a lot, especially not just with Black Desert, but with pretty much anything in life. But the first thing is to figure out what exactly is your goal. Like, why do you play? Is it because you like grinding monsters? Is it because you like large scale PvP and you are in a T1 guild that does T1 node wars? Is it because you just have a group of friends that play, and because they play and make progress, you want to play and make progress? Do you like gambling? Do you like structured PvP? Like, there are so many different reasons as to why someone can play a game, and obviously there's no wrong answer. You just have to do, you know, what keeps you interested in the game, and instead of chasing what's efficient, you know, for example, grinding centaurs for 6 or 7 hours on a Valkyrie, which you probably hate anyways, you could instead be focusing on the things that you actually like and doing the things that are effective in terms of getting you to those goals or those fun points in the game, right? So let's take, for instance, let's say you're interested in doing T1 node wars, or like you're in a guild that does like T1 node wars already and you want to have a better time doing that. Well, I don't know if you realize this, but T1 node wars are literally gear cap. So what does it matter if you are 700 billion GS or just like some guy with fully capped gear for T1, and like you have the optimized gear set for T1? And guess what? It's a whole lot cheaper to be optimized for T1 than it is to go ahead and grind out 700 gear score with like 10 like accessories and like 10 black stars and whatever else. It takes like a fraction of the time. And if you're chasing efficiency, you know, trying to grind the most optimal places with the most optimal character and the most optimal rotations for something that's not even going to get you any stronger, and the main reason why you play this game is for T1 node wars, like, what's the point? You waste a bunch of time doing something that's just not effective. And that I believe is a very large source of burnout for majority of the population. Is they're just chasing a goal that other people say that they should be chasing, and it doesn't actually make sense for them. It has nothing to do with, you know, what actually makes them like the game of Black Desert to begin with. And, you know, grinding, getting 700 gear score, you know, not even being able to use it because you're in a T1 guild maybe with a bunch of people that you like playing with, and cool, you can have the gear and you can flex with it, but you know, at the end of the day, if your goal is T1 Node Wars, instead of grinding and dumping all your money into 700 GS, you should instead look for ways to have an optimal T1 gear set and just do T1 Node Wars. Or if you like structured PvP, then, you know, if you don't feel like grinding, then don't grind that day, because you can always just play Arena of Solaire, because it's gear capped or gear regulated, and if that scratches your itch, and that's why you play BDO, is to get that structured PvP or that equalized PvP, then, you know, you got Arena of Solaire and you don't even have to grind. You can just hop right in. Maybe let's say you're into gambling. You like the gambling aspect of BDO, which, you know, some people actually really like that. I am a gambling enjoyer myself every now and then. Pretty casual on all fronts, but especially with the gambling, like I'll you know, gamble accessories that I get as drops. But, you know, if that's your thing, then why bother, you know, saving up a bunch of money for, you know, buying accessories and stuff like that, if having 10 accessories or like 10 items or whatever isn't really going to make you feel any better about playing the game. You know, if you like the gambling aspect, then save your materials, use that for gathering sessions, or sorry, for gambling sessions, and, you know, maybe grind some rare loot spots that drop, you know, congrads or whatever, and enhance those as you get them. And one of the last things I can always recommend to anyone who's playing this game and looking for some sort of longevity, and it's kind of ironic coming from me because I generally play this game as a solo, but it's to find a community of people that kind of think the same way as you, or play the same way as you, or have the same kind of goals as you. Like, for instance, if you are somebody who is just interested in experiencing T1 large-scale node wars, and you're looking for a siege guild for some reason, and they're pushing you to get 700 gear score and whatever else is required for siege, but that's not really your playstyle, then what are you doing in that guild, you know? That guild is going against your goals for what you want to do in game. And just the common misconception, I feel, that you need some absurd high amount of gear score to enjoy anything in this game is just not so true anymore. There was a time back then, definitely, where it was true, especially when things were uncapped. Arena of Solaire didn't exist, and open world PvP was, you know, the main focus for BDO. But now there's quite a bit of content, and if you kind of look at it through a different lens, you can enjoy a lot of these things pretty early on in the game without having to invest tons and tons of hours into grinding for it, or, you know, just doing something you don't really enjoy just to hopefully get to a part of the game in which you do enjoy it. And I think Pearl Abyss, they've been doing a pretty good job kind of having these, I guess, intermediate things, or at least funner activities, making them more accessible for people without having to, you know, grind centaurs for 24 hours a day just to get there or to even be relevant. And another thing is, while BDO definitely is meant to be a fun and long-term game, I think it's very important to prioritize things in your actual life. Right, actual life, huh? But you should take breaks. There are days where I wake up and I'm like, forget Black Desert. I don't want to touch this game with a 10-foot pole, and then I don't. I just go play other games. Like, for instance, the other day, my friends and I, we picked up Valheim, and we were playing that for the first time, and I didn't even log into this game. And once you kind of free yourself from the notion that, oh, like, I always have to be pushing the cutting edge of gear score. I've got to be on top, or I got to catch up by like grinding centaurs, and if I take a day off, then I'm wasting my time and falling behind. If you get out of that mentality, this game doesn't really take a hold of you and your life as it often does for some people, because they're so busy chasing after some arbitrary gear score number when they could just be doing something else that gives them the same amount of fun but for way less time. And so I implore everyone who, if you're watching and you've made it this far, just figure out why exactly you play this game, what's fun about it, and chase after that. For some people, it might be pushing up that gear score to 700, and then great, all the power to you. You just grind and do whatever gets you there. But for whoever else who might be kind of in the same boat as me, where it's like I'm in a guild now that does tier 1 node wars, like I couldn't care less if I was 700 gear score or not. Like, I'm still going to be grinding blood wolves and all this garbage until I get the potions, because that's my goal. And I'm going to be working towards things that are efficient for tier 1 node wars, because that's the content I do. I don't need 700 gear score to grind infinite potions and do T1. It makes literally no sense, and it allows me to not slave over this game and play however much I want. Sometimes I barely touch the game for longer than 20 minutes. Sometimes I don't even log in at all. And guess what? I'm still doing the things that make this game fun for me, and I'm not burning out. And I think that is what a lot of people are missing. And I think that's how you find longevity in a game like this. I want to thank everyone for watching, and if you guys have any feedback or comments, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.